Hallo und willkommen, ich bin Meister Lenz and you're watching Get Germanized, being Greek in Germany and what to expect.
I am bored. What should I do?
Ich weiß.
Keep in mind that this video is based off of research from the internet and stereotypes that I have heard about and from people that I've spoken to, like what they told me basically, because I myself have never been to Greece. I actually don't know any Greek people, so all my information from this video is based on articles and, just from hearsay, basically. So, I'm doing this video in the first place because you guys have asked me so many times, like, what do you think about Greece? What is the German view on Greek people? Is it still bad? We're going to talk about that today, so keep that in mind while watching this video. There can be very bad stereotypes when it comes to the Greek people here in Germany, especially when someone hasn't really been to Greece themselves, because from friends who traveled there I heard that they're very hospitable, very nice, hardworking, all of that kind of stuff. But stereotypes exist that depict the Greek people as lazy, as hairy, as gay, but and as greedy. I don't know where that's coming from. I think it's all, actually I do know, it's coming from the debt that the government owes, right? The huge debt. And that is just unfair in my opinion, because it's obviously not the people's fault what the government does. Same, what the Greek people should understand, that they shouldn't hate the German people. They should maybe dislike the government instead. I think many people do actually, but for many Germans, the hate and the fury of the Greek people seems to be directed at us, at the people, and that I think just contributes to the animosity that some Germans might have after this whole scandal with the debt towards the Greek people. Which is sad in my opinion. I've actually found a very interesting article by Vice, and they interviewed people from Germany and people from Greece who live in Germany or have visited Germany, and they gave their opinions. I'm going to link the article in the video description, but I'm also going to recite some of the statements here. So Beate from Berlin said, I stopped following this story in the German press. They keep trying to humiliate the country, and it makes me too angry. I have a few Greek friends from university, and through them I know how hard life is over there. They all have these crazy taxes that no one can pay. The media in Germany wants us to think they're stupid and lazy, but I know that's not the case. Austerity just doesn't work, because Germany is continuously preaching about, they need to... how do you say that in English? Austerity is the word. Like it's self-explanatory, really. Like that they need to get by with less, I suppose. That they need to save money and try to, just pay off their debt, basically. Then Konstantinos from Athens said, I've been to Berlin and I love the city and their sense of organization, but as people, they were a little cold and sort of racist against Greeks, at least the older generation. When you tell them you're Greek, they look at you sort of strange. This was the feeling I got from 1 week of being in Germany. But I liked their way of doing things and that they looked clean and refined. I think I would live comfortably there. Another statement by Jan from Berlin is, I don't think the EU should threaten the Greeks with cuts just because they don't want their austerity anymore. I think Germany just has to help them now so that they can stay in the euro. The EU came together for a reason, solidarity. It makes no sense to turn your back on someone the moment they start experiencing difficulties. The whole alliance would be kind of pointless. And I tend to agree with that to a point. I mean, people or governments need to know how to handle the money so that they don't constantly build up debt. But of course, if there's a crisis that is not their fault, then the alliance should help. Katharina from Athens said, I am a waitress, so I service quite a few German tourists. I get the impression that Germans are so-so. There are those who are nice and kind, but then some that are more annoying. One thing is certain, when you get a German customer, they won't be tipping. Okay. I do tip. They generally give off negative vibes, and I think it's because of that Merkel mad woman. There's again the political angle here. Many Greeks just hate Merkel. I know many of my viewers actually are furious about Merkel's politics, and I understand to a degree. But again, I think many people confuse the government with the actual people living in Germany or in the country itself. Like same as we don't all hate Americans in Europe, right? People might dislike the government, but that doesn't mean that you need to feel threatened personally. Robin from Berlin said, I guess it would be great for the Greeks if they got their old currency back, but it wouldn't be good for the rest of the EU, although they wouldn't be able to afford foreign technology. Also, I'm not sure about this left-wing guy. Okay, this crisis is partly Greece's fault, but it's as much Germany's and the EU's fault. Take the weapons Germany sells to Greece. We basically force them to buy expensive equipment worth billions of euros. I mean, the Greek army is better equipped than our own. Why, I wonder? That's also a reason they don't have money. They spend it all on our weapons. Well, I mean, I don't know if that's true or not. That sounds rather opinionated here, but I mean, this is about opinions, so yeah. Christoph from Athens says, usually when I think of Germany, I think of something negative because of World War II. Before the crisis, the negative view I had was because of its history. Now I can say that my opinion has been affected because of the political situation too. However, I don't equate politicians with citizens. What we talked about before, very good. We cannot undermine nor question some aspects of German culture. They have their own mentality about life and going about the everyday, more stringent regulations that frame the way they live. I believe they have a better educational system, and maybe that's why people come out as more stringent. Stringent? I don't even know how to say that. Educational system. I don't agree with those who say that Germans are bad people. They simply have superior interests. Oh, that's interesting. He thinks we have superior interests? So what would the Greek interest be then? If we have, that's a strange thing to say the least, I think. Clara from Berlin then says, I think a country shouldn't leave the EU once it's joined. That's what the EU is for, countries supporting each other. If they lose the euro now, this would make their crisis much worse. Also, traveling to Greece is much easier when they have also the euro, okay? So it's a bit like selfish, this point here. I traveled to the Thessaloniki and Chalkidiki 3 years ago, and it's beautiful. They have so much culture, and I didn't feel like they didn't like me because I was German. Everyone I met was relaxed. I've never experienced Greeks as being unfriendly. I heard about this before, that the tourist areas actually are very hospitable. I mean, that's what they need to be doing though, so you never really know if they behind your back would talk about you, and I think that's what many Germans are worried about when they go to these places. I hear, or I've read about Germans apologizing for being German, or apologizing for the government and stuff like that. And that's kind of sad. I wouldn't want to have to do that when visiting anywhere. Like, it's the same as, I know that some of my American viewers have said, like, oh, sorry for our government and stuff like that. Just don't do it. Like, there's no need. You didn't do it. Like, I mean, to a degree, maybe if you voted for that person, that's arguable, I suppose. But generally speaking, we don't have anything against you because of your government. Same goes for the Greek people. And last but not least, Konstantina from Athens said, I've traveled all around Europe, but in Germany it seemed to me that people didn't really make an effort to speak English with us. The Germans are very good people, but they take life too seriously. Greeks speak loud and generally give off happy vibes. The Germans are way too quiet. I loved Berlin though. It's a great city, the streets are clean, there are lots of bars, the museums and restaurants are nice, and they all dress well, but I didn't really like their local cuisine. What? Also, anything produced in Germany is of very good quality. Even if you buy a blender, you can be sure that if it's from Germany, it's a guarantee for good quality, I guess she wanted to say. But yeah, that's very nice to hear. Like, so the stereotypes of German quality still exist. Not sure how true that still is. I mean, I think it's still valid, even after the VW scandal, right? With the emissions and all of that. Because I think many companies in this world aren't really white collar. You know, they have some stains at least on their white collar, and most of them just don't get caught. So yeah, that's just my opinion though. Also, I found another article. Like I said, I link every source in the video description. You can read it all for yourself as well. But an article by David Radike, an SEO consultant in Germany, and he said what most Germans would probably think is, for what bloody reason should our hard-earned tax money be used to help finance the Greek economy? Don't we have enough problems here in our own country? And many people would argue, or at least the left in Germany would argue, that because of the war debt that we owe, or that they think we still owe Greece for what happened in the Nazi area of Germany, we should help them now, no matter what, because we still owe a debt to the people. And I've actually saw statistics, gonna also link that, that many Greek people think the same. I'm not sure which age range it was, maybe the older people, but many people think that they should reclaim what we owe them by any means possible. And that was kind of like, oh, okay. But that is also an older statistic, I think from 2000 and what it was, 13 or something like that. So this might have changed by now, but that was kind of surprising to me. But maybe you guys can let me know. Do you think the same thing still? Should that debt be reclaimed even these days? Also, he goes on saying, if the Greek people elect a government that advertised before the election that it would stop to fulfill the austerity program agreements, why should the Eurozone keep their part of the deal, which is give more money? Well, I kind of understand this because, you know, if someone says, well, I'm not going to do anything about my debt, I'm just going to live on the way I have and make more debt, or like, you know, why would you give that person more money? Or in this case, the government. So I kind of get this point. But what do you think? It's all about discussion here. He goes on saying, and probably many also think, why is Greece part of the European Union? And why don't they just exit if they think they're so better off by themselves? Many Greek people don't fit into the Union, no hard feelings. They're a free country and can do whatever they want, as long as we don't have to pay the bill. Well, I guess you could argue that. But again, here comes the alliance thought into play, the fellowship, basically, like that you support each other if you need help. But then of course there is a risk of being exploited by someone who just, you know, they will give us money if we need it. So I think that's what many Germans still think about when they think of the Greek government, at least, that they just take the money without planning on actually changing things to not make more debt. But like I said, that's just something that seems to be the case. Especially since in 2015 they voted in Greece, held a referendum and voted against the money control policies. So that is questionable as well for many Germans. So some might think, well, good luck with your country's upcoming bankruptcy without the euro. But again, I don't think that's all the Germans. I personally don't hold any grudges at all. Like, I don't really have negative or positive feelings since I've never been there, and I don't really know many Greek people. I just hear what's going on in the media, and now I know more, obviously, because I informed myself with these articles and stuff like that. But I think this video is mainly a discussion video, because that is the most interesting part about all the videos that I produce about these kind of topics, what you guys have to say about it. So leave a comment in the comment section. Gonna link all the information in the video description, like I said. Like the video, share it with your Greek friends or with your German friends, or just people who might be interested in this, in participating in the discussion. And please keep it civil. You know, we might have different opinions, but that doesn't mean we need to shout at each other or insult each other. That's not what this is for. And subscribe if you haven't yet, of course. And apart from that, thank you very much for watching. Don't forget to get Germanized. Goodbye and auf Wiedersehen.